Hello and welcome to the channel. So today, seeing as we are in lockdown again for a while, I'm going to do a review on this AllPowers 372 watt hour solar generator. So basically this is it's like a very large power bank which are commonly used for charging phones and anything like that. So I picked this up from eBay for €260, and I consider that to be quite a bargain because there's a lot of other ones out there that are they're more expensive. They may also have higher capacity, but for this capacity and this kind of feature set, it's quite a good bargain. Now I bought this with my own money. This isn't a paid promotion or anything like that. So if you're looking at this video, you probably already have an idea about what this is. But I'm gonna just go through the kind of basics on it. So basically, it's a battery pack which has an inverter to run normal household devices, and so you'd plug your device in there on the front. You have two sockets, and so the maximum you can run on this is 300 watt continuous and 500 peak. So that means if you have a device that's at the start takes 500 watt for like a second or 2 seconds, it will cope with that as long as the device continues at 300 watt. So it has the ability to be charged directly from a solar panel. That's an MC4 Anderson connection. You can also charge it using this is a DC barrel connector, so you can charge it from any DC source, which is from 12 volts to 22 volts, and it's the same for the input on the Anderson connector. So you're going to want to use just one solar panel on this. You're not going to want to wire up two solar panels in series because it's going to be too much voltage for this unit, and it will blow it up. At the front of the unit, you have the two plugs, as I mentioned before. You also have these two not so bright LED lights, but I suppose they'd do in an emergency. So you can charge it from the solar panels, and you can charge it from the DC barrel. The mains adapter to come with the device charges through the DC barrel. I'll actually plug that in now because the unit is a little bit dead. So that goes in there. So on the front of the unit you have a nice little display, and it shows how long it's going to take to charge. This unit is at 4%, so it's going to take quite a while. The mains adapter that comes with it, if you can see that on the camera, is a 20 volt at 3 amp, which is in effect 60 watt, or it should be 60 watt. As you notice here on the display, it actually is showing it's going to charge at 50 watts input. So I'm not sure, maybe the voltage is a little bit low on this adapter, but that's the max I'm getting on my unit, so I assume it's the same for everybody. So if you have an adapter like this, I think it's a 5.5 and a 2.5 millimeter inside. These are fairly standard adapters. You'd have it on maybe your router box at home, so they're fairly common. It will charge off 12 volts, so if you didn't have this main charger with you, you could use one of those adapters it'll plug straight in to the DC. So obviously it has some sort of a MPPT buck boost converter, DC to DC converter, which boosts the voltage from 12 volts to 12.6, which is what the battery needs. And also it'll if it's 20 volts, it'll step down that voltage to what the battery needs, back down to 12.6. So the capacity of this generator is it's 105 amp hours or 105,000 milliamp hours. That's the claim capacity. I didn't actually check it, but it does hold up well from what I've tested so far. Yeah, as I said about the inputs on this for the solar and the DC barrel jack, you're looking at 12 volts to 22 volts, and it can only take 3.2 amps max, which is roughly 70 watts on the input to charge. The batteries inside the unit, they are 18650s. People who vape and all that kind of stuff would be familiar with 18650s. They're pretty much the most common rechargeable battery in the world at the moment, and they're used in all sorts of laptops and all that kind of thing. And they're wired up in a 3-cell configuration in series, so that gives you 12.6 volts when it's fully charged. Okay, so some of the ports on the unit, we went through the input. So you also have a car charger port here, or cigarette lighter port, so you can charge your any device basically that is in that format. So like you can use another USB charger. You can put it in there if you need it as well, or any kind of air compressor or anything like that. As I said on the front, the plugs, so you can charge your laptop off that. You could run your TV off it. You can pretty much run most kind of low power devices off it. Yes, so that's on the front. On the side here, we have 2 DC output jacks, barrel jacks again. Now, these aren't the same size as the one on the back here, and probably the reason for that is you don't plug in your charger in the wrong place, so they're a little bit smaller. So if I try to plug that charger in there, it doesn't actually fit. So USBs, you have 3 USBs, and then you have a USB-C port. This is a USB, so this is like a power delivery port. So you can use it if your laptop has USB-C. You can charge your laptop directly using a USB-C cable, a good quality USB-C cable to your laptop, and it will charge that way, and that would be more efficient than charging your laptop through these ports, because you have the inverter losses on these ports. This is bringing it up to 220 volts, and then it has your laptop adapter converts it back down to 19 or 20 volts again, so there's losses there. So if you use this port, if your laptop has this type connection for charging, it will be more efficient, so you're going to get longer run time. Now, so just on the front here you have your AC, DC and Bluetooth, and this is actually Bluetooth and wireless charging. It's a little bit funny to have it on the one button, but yeah, that's the design. So on the DC, to turn on the DC, you just hit the button. It gives you a hello and tells you it's ready to go. So if I just grab a USB device here, I'll show you. So I'm just going to charge this power bank from another power bank. So it shows you the wattage going out, and I better just plug this in. It's gone dead. So it shows you the wattage going out, how quickly it's charging on that, and that's the wattage going in, actually it's showing you. So so you can run it, you can charge devices while you're charging the power bank. So if you're running a solar panel off this, you can charge your devices at the same time. Okay, so yeah, so that's charging at the moment. Yeah, so that's the USB side of things. Then you have your AC. So to turn on the AC, you have to press and hold your AC button, and then it'll come on. You'll hear the little fan. So there's a little fan right here, and yeah, so it's pretty small and not that noisy really. So it'll tell you the wattage in and out. So currently it's saying 45 watts because there's 5 watts used by this inverter when it's on idle. So if you happen to leave this AC side on, it will drain the battery obviously because it is using power. So we have 50 watts coming in on this cable here, but the inverter is using 5 watts. So let me plug in my laptop and just show you what it looks like. That's actually a little bit of a design flaw as well, a feature. So if you're plugging in your plug over this side, you can't see what's going on, wattage in and out, so just use this up. So as you can see, my laptop is going to be going up and down because the laptop is running. So at the moment the battery is only getting 6 watt in because the power is going through and straight into my laptop on this cable. So the battery is charging pretty slowly. So that's it. So I'm going to just unplug the input, and it'll show you what the laptop is drawing from the unit. So we have 49 watts at the moment, and it will also show you the runtime left in the battery. So because I didn't actually charge this battery already because I wanted to show, there's only 4% left in it, so it's not going to last very long. It's showing 15 minutes. I don't think it would even last that long, so I'm going to plug that back in. So now again it's showing, should show 50 watts. Oh yeah, so we have 45 watts, so we're going to press and hold to turn off the AC. That's the AC off, and it's going to show us 50 watts in again and charge time. So this is how long it's going to take to charge from dead. So at the moment it's saying 7 hours 15 minutes. So that's going to go down maybe 6 hours, maybe 6 hours and a half or something like that. So that's really all there is to on the unit here. There is 2 fuses inside here. I didn't open them up, they're probably just car type fuses. So yeah, they're just inside there. If you happen to overload something on the inverter, that's where you want to go to change your fuses. You also have this Bluetooth / wireless charging button. So if you just hit that once, you'll see it flashes for a second, and then you need your wireless device. Pop it on top there, and you can see the red little light is on my Galaxy Buds. So it's actually currently charging, and it's using 1 watt of energy. So it's gone down from 50 to 49. So this is charging at 1 watt at the moment. So it's pretty much fully charged. Okay, so that's the wireless charging. It's pretty quick at picking it up, and it kicks in pretty quick. Okay, so that's that. So to turn that off, you just hit the button. You don't have to hold it. If you press and hold the wireless charging Bluetooth button, it turns on the Bluetooth. Okay. Now, one thing I've noticed with this unit is if you leave the unit unplugged from the mains, with the Bluetooth on, the unit basically stays on like this. It doesn't power off the screen, so it's going to wear down the power if you leave the Bluetooth on. The Bluetooth, it's a nice feature. Again, it shows you the input and output wattage and the voltage of the battery. It's not that it's a bit of a gimmick, really. Like, I wouldn't I'm not going to use it very often. So to turn off the Bluetooth, press and hold that button again, and then the unit will actually power off. So in this stage, it's not going to discharge anymore. Now I'm just going to get my multimeter and show you the voltages on the DC side of things. Okay, so this is a multimeter just for testing the voltages. So first we'll test the voltage on this car port, the car cigarette lighter. So let's turn on the DC. So it's there, 4% battery. We gotta do this quick. Okay, so that's our DC. And let me just get my multimeter in shot. So you should be able to see that. Let me just turn on the backlight if I can. There we go. Oh no, it's actually better without it. Okay, so you can see some numbers there on the screen. So what we're looking for here is something around 12 volt. So we're not getting anything. Oh, DC's gone off. Let's charge it up. So the battery's so close to being discharged, it actually switched off. So let's charge it while we test the DC. Let's turn on that DC again. And let's get our probes in there. So it's quite hard to get the connection on it. Okay, let's move this aside again. Let's just test my multimeter. Okay, so that's showing 20 volt, which is from the DC. That would be why. Okay, so as you can see, the battery is pretty dead. So it's currently at 5%. And your 12 volt cigarette lighter is only showing 10 volt 37 because that's the actual battery voltage. So this port right here is not regulated. So yeah, just bear that in mind if you're plugging in devices. They're not going to run as well. They're going to draw more amps through this port. Yeah, so just bear that in mind. And the max limit on this port is 120 watt. So don't overload it. There you go. Okay, so due to the difficulty in getting my multimeter in there, yeah, it's difficult to get it on camera. So these are regulated outputs. So I think they come up to about 12.3 volts. So that's good because your 12 volt devices will run a lot better. So in terms of build quality, it's quite good. Nice strong handle on there for carrying it around. Yeah, so it's a nice little unit, smaller than what I expected as well. It is my first one of these generators, but I probably will buy another few, because they're really handy to have around, because you have such a powerful power source, and it's very, very portable. So that's it. Like the price, really, you can't go wrong. So I definitely would recommend this product. Okay, that's it. Take it easy.